Good evening. My name is Natalia Jiménez, and today I'm going to be answering a couple of questions for the final work of foreign language acquisition. Such work states the following question. Watch this video about a group of teachers talking about the importance of the assessment in the learning process. And then make a reflection, why is important the assessment in the learning process? Well, the teachers mentioned a couple of factors. Assessment help not only the learners to realize where they are and how much they have achieved, but also the teacher to see how much the students have achieved and if they have to make some adjustments in the teaching process. Sometimes the assessment for the students also show the teacher that they need to improve certain processes or give more input because a certain topic wasn't very clear. And yeah, that is an aspect that assessment reflects. Also, for parents, it's important to know in what step of the process the children is in the learning process, yes? So assessment gives us all these clues. One, the student's performance and how well they're doing or not. Two, the teacher's performance, if there is something that he needs to do again, to teach again, or to show in a different way for the students to practice more. Three, there are two types of assessment. One that is formative and the other one that is summative. The formative assessment is when the student is learning. The formative assessment allowed us to see that the activities that we are doing, the students are able to do them in the class. While the summative assessment is to see how much the students know. We usually do it at the end of the process, yes, and to acquire a general idea of how much the students master, you know, from the topics that we taught in class. Okay, here there is, can you advise this teacher? Rahul and Priya are doing a teacher training course. They were asked to correct writing an advertisement for a pet and give feedback. So this is the work. I can see from the work that the person who's doing this is a child, or yeah, young. It's really, really young. I see that Raul focuses on the grammar part, the punctuation aspects. For example, here in the capitalization and everything. Nevertheless, he is friendly with the student. He says, flame sounds like a lot of fun. You have a lot of detail. So he gives a positive feedback first. That is a friendly way to approach, yes. And then he mentions to remember the capital letters for names at the beginning of the sentences, yes. So basically, this is a feedback that takes into account the needs of the child. In the second Priya, you know, doesn't give any comment, focuses on only the mistakes that she found and gives some sort of rubric and gives a sticker and then she says, good work. There is no communication with the student whatsoever, doesn't acknowledge the things that she liked about the writing and focuses only on the grammar aspect. What advice should I give or can I give to Priya to be a little bit more, you know, friendlier, like not to focus only on the grammar aspect, because there is also content and she doesn't mention anything about the content. Maybe Raul here makes all the corrections right there and then, doesn't use any convention for the writing part. So maybe we can complement one and the other. One of the questions that the teacher asks here, you know, what are the strengths and weaknesses? I already said that. And what advice would I give to Raul and Priya? Raul to use a little bit more conventions for correcting those written assignments, there are some conventions to express, the grammar part in what you have to insert something, and he's not using any of those. And Priya to be more friendly, yeah, to talk about the content, not only the mistakes, and to acknowledge, the good things that the student did in the right written part. And they didn't correct one error on line 3. That might mean that the teacher didn't notice it, they didn't see it, something that slipped their sight. If I were the teacher of this learner, which type of error would I focus on in class and why? Actually, I think I would focus on all these things, but I would also talk about the content, what they are saying, and how to organize the sentence structure. Yeah, capitalization. I think I would do what Raul did. I would do what Raul did, and I would try to be friendly and try to, emphasize on the good things and be careful with the things that needs improvement. In the way I correct writing, I try to use the conventions. Here online, in the online environment, it's difficult to use those conventions for we are, I usually correct those on Padlet. So I use capital letters when I have to replace certain words, and I make emphasis on how they organize the sentences, because my students tend to write the way they think in Spanish, and they try to put all the information together in just one sentence. So I try to teach them to split the ideas, to use commas, to use periods, to organize a sentence, to put the subject first stuff and stuff like that. And I do it live. Like if there are 10 students that did the job, I do it in front of the 10 students, and everybody learns from each other's mistakes and corrections. And when they do the next written assessment, written assignment, they do a much better job because they remember the things that we mentioned in class from the corrections that I did to them. So I think it's important to focus on capitalization and grammar and spelling. They are okay, but also sentence structure, which is something that I didn't see here. She likes to play with a ball. They forgot to insert the insertion thing. Thank you, teacher, for everything, for the opportunity to share this with you through the video. And that's it. Goodbye and see you around.